Okay, so the rule of Jenny Penn. This is the new film from James Ashcroft. He co-wrote the film with Eli Kent. It is produced by Catherine Fitzgerald, Orlando Stewart, executive produced by James Ashcroft, associate produced by Letitia Tate Dunning, and line production from Kalacia Wharton. Matt Henley took care of cinematography. Gretchen Petterson edits the piece. Production design, we have Zara Archer. Art direction is Grace Ashens, Tim Dumet, and Melissa Spicer. Gabrielle Stevenson is costume design with hair, makeup, special teeth, prosthetics. We got Don Brooker, Deanne Heisted Jones, Frankie Karina, Chris Lyons, and Jamie Lee Remeka. Our cast. Well, we have John Lithgow as Dave Crealy. Geoffrey Rush is Stefan Mortensen. We've got George Hennar as Tony Garfield. There's Sonny Usag is played by Nathaniel Less. Madeline Shepherd played by Holly Shanahan. Kara Mike played by Thomas Sainsbury. Kara Jasmine played by Annapella Polatavio. Howie Wicker played by Ian Munn. Peter Luen played by Bruce Phillips. We've got Dr. Niels played by Maka Pohatu. Kara Tania played by Yvette Parsons. Olive Shaw played by Irene Wood. Who else do we have? Sally Pyle played by Jeanette MacDonald. Eunice Joyce played by Hilary Norris. Kara Joy played by Hannah Lynch. The psychologist played by Paolo Rotundo. We got the coach played by Samu Filippo. Tobias Papanovich played by Nick Blake. Our musician played by Richard Chapman. Comfrey Hales played by Jane Waddle. Sean Dunn played by Lutz Holbenuna. Kara Grace played by Fiona Collins. The mother in the court was Nikki McDonnell. Nurse Anita played by Philapatia Rashmi. Kara May is Erand Beltazar. Okie dokie. So the gist of the story. Arrogant judge Stefan Mortensen suffers a near fatal stroke, leaving him partially paralysed and confined to a retirement home. Resistant to staff and distant from his friendly roommate Tony, Mortensen soon clashes with seemingly gentle resident Dave Crealy, who secretly terrorizes the home with a sadistic game called The Rule of Jenny Penn, while wielding his dementia doll as an instrument of cruelty. What begins as a childish torment quickly escalates into far more sinister and disturbing incidents. When Mortensen's pleas to the staff go unanswered, he takes it upon himself to put an end to Crealy's reign of terror. I mean, yeah, this was... As I say, I was not expecting what we got with this film. You know, it's actually based on a short story by Owen Marshall. And we've come across Eli Kent before, right? Because she was the co-writer of Millie Goes Down, I think it was, that we looked at maybe 2 years ago. Right now, James Ashcroft has got a director's statement. It reads: The Rule of Jenny Penn is a psychological thriller based on author Owen Marshall's short story of the same name. Marshall's story explores power dynamics, and his characters are always very well observed and crafted. That appeals to myself and Eli Kent. As a father of 3, I'm ever aware of the prospect of bullying in my children's lives, but I'd never considered it something that my aging parents could face in the twilight stage of their lives. The concept of this taking place in a rest home environment, a place with a great deal of vulnerability, was an incredibly compelling notion for a film. The Rule of Jenny Penn follows a high-profile judge who is put into rest home care following a debilitating stroke. While there, he discovers a fellow resident is feigning dementia symptoms and covertly menacing other residents. What starts off as a childish torment soon escalates into much more serious, disturbing incidents than deaths, but that's to be expected in rest home care. It's the last stop in many people's lives. The film is about tyranny in a place you least expect it. Tyrants grow quickly like weeds when given the right conditions to thrive, and their actions often occur in private, behind closed doors, tucked away in the corners away from prying eyes. They are insidious in their intent, whether in the schoolyard, in corporate structures, governments, or in this case, a rest home. I think the worst of villains, both fictional and factual, are usually the most craven, only capable of feeling powerful when keeping others down. Often they pose little to no imagination. A coward with a dull mind can be a dangerous thing, but it's also a film about the choices we make in the face of oppression, whether to stand up to it or lay down before it, and how those choices are often less black and white than we would like to believe. It was an incredible once-in-a-lifetime gift to have this extraordinary cast to bring these characters to life. People often say be wary of meeting your heroes, but in this instance it couldn't have been further from that. The level of craft, artistry, generosity and bravery John Lithgow, Geoffrey Rush brought to the collaboration and their characters was inspiring to everyone involved. It was a truly joyful experience watching these two titans of stage and screen have at it. They've spoiled working with actors for me, or at least set the bar incredibly high. I don't shy from what others call dark material. I think it's important to work with challenging material in the arts because it allows us to unpack some of those more tricky conversations that can be hard to have via other avenues. There's a lot of nuance and duality to be found in material like The Rule of Jenny Penn. I believe there is real healing to be found in the dark. If we never look there, how can we move forward into a future with greater empathy and hope? I don't think dark stories equate to bleak, heavy, morose stories that lack in entertainment. On the contrary, there's a real energy and effervescence quality to this film that comes from unpacking the themes, the environment, and both the opposer and the opposed who fight back. There's genuine humour, delight, and humanity to be found in the darkest corners of this story. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know, right? I don't know if The Rule of Jenny Penn is necessarily a film you enjoy, because it is, it's just kind of this harrowing. It's like a dark cloud, you know? When you were told the weather was going to be nice, you planned a great day out, and then it's just miserable, right? Dark clouds, it's chilly. It's just, you're just like, it's not raining, so technically I can still do what I do, but I don't feel happy anymore. And that's kind of this film, right? And I don't even mean that in a bad way, because the cast is incredible, right? The direction is fantastic. The cinematography, right? The camera work. Some of these shots were like, there's a shot with Dave Crealy holding the doll, and the light is coming from behind him. We're looking up, so the doll looks like it's got these red glowing eyes, right? And you just, the look on, John Lithgow's face, it's just menacing. There's this other shot with Geoffrey Rush in bed, and the camera just pulls back, and it's slowly pulling back, and you've just got the bed. Basically the room is very bleak and empty. So we just see him in the bed, and then we see the wheelchair, and there's just nothing else. There's no soul to the room, and he's not moving. So it just feels like devoid of hope. Right? That's what that really, shot just feels like, devoid of hope, and the film is full of these moments, so it looks great. It's just like the sound design is really spot on, because, you have this home, right? It's full of these people. There's a lot of residents with dementia and other things. So there's just this background noise. But then when Dave is in the room, people act very differently. So you see that. And then the contrast of when Dave isn't there, right? It's a completely different thing. And it's so noticeable with the way they've, crafted all the background noise and everything like that. So it works on so many levels, right? It works on so many levels. Hey, even the prosthetics, right? The teeth. Oh, the teeth are horrible. Like, it's so horrible, but it's great, right? And I think one thing we often find with films, it's meant to be set in, the years of the Black Plague, but everyone have got shiny white teeth, and you're just like, nah, that doesn't work, right? And most things set in the past, no one had shiny white teeth, so they slip up on a lot of these things. But in this, we don't get those mistakes. Right? The teeth, the hair, the clothes, everything fit. So that was perfect, right? Now we start off and we got Stefan, Geoffrey Rush's character. He's a judge. He's residing over this case. And it's not a nice case, right? It's around, paedophilia. So not good. But we just have this reaction from Stefan, which tells us a lot about him. Kind of sanctimonious, right? The way he is talking to everyone. But then on the flip side, you're kind of like, well, he's not wrong. You know what I mean? In his mind, he's standing up for truth and justice. And he is. But he's very condescending. He's very condescending. But then what he says to the mother is kind of true too. You know what I mean? So it's a crazy scene because it tells us so much, right? And with this film, seeing everything that goes down, Stefan is not a likable character. It's not a likable character. So you are in this position, we're watching all of these things go down, right? And you're just kind of, I think it's easy to resonate to people you like. So there's films and you're watching like these bad things are happening to a character you like, and you're just like, oh man, I can't believe this. I want it to stop. I need him to fight. But in this one, because Stefan's such a dick, I think it has the view of thinking, I mean, do we care? Does he have it coming to him? Some of this stuff. Right, the way he talks to people, the other residents, the staff, and the staff aren't great, right? For Dave to be able to do what he does, it shows this, dereliction of just everything, essentially, right? Of hope, of care, of time, just of morals. The staff, it just seems they're there for the paycheck. You don't necessarily see love in these walls. And that was one of the odd things, though, about James's statement, because when he's just like, I expect bullying for my children, but not for my aging parents. And I'm kind of like, yo, the stories you hear about care homes is not good, right? Like, there's always stories of just mistreatment and stuff. But I think the thing being, you would expect the bullying from the staff, So seeing it all play out how it does is creepy and interesting. And just the performances work so well, right? Because, John Lithgow has to play like senile, but then very very with it, right? Like these two opposites. Then you've got the other residents who are playing very fragile characters. Some of them, though, fragile in body, but you can see a spark, right? You can see they're with it. Some, they're just not. So it's getting all of these things, the balance, everything, just on point. And I think James and Ellie do a great job with the script. You know, James does a great job with the direction. The cast are terrific. You know, all the elements work. This is a really well put together film. It's just, you know, it's just one of those films where you're just like, I liked it. I don't think I'm watching it again. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, it's uncomfortable as fuck, right? Super uncomfortable, especially like the image we're left with on the end credits. You're just like, oh boy. But yeah, I think if you enjoy like stuff like oh gosh, it was dark, twisted. Oh, I cannot think of the name of the film. It was based on a Tennyson poem, right, that we looked at during, I think it was Dances with Films, like it was Fantasia a few years back, right, like 2 years ago. So if you like that kind of thing, you know, I guess if you like stuff, probably like, what was that film recently with, what's his name? God damn, I think it's the critic, that's the one. If you like stuff like that, I think the Rule of Jenny Penn will work for you, because it is a very well put together film, as said, people. It really is, you know. So it is dropping. I think it's dropping in the States on the 7th of March and in the UK on the 14th of March, the following week. And Australia and New Zealand get it the week after, on the 20th. So, yes, it will be coming to a spot near you shortly. 7th, 14th, and the 20th of March. So if this sounds like it's for you, mark those days down in your calendar. The Rule of Jenny Penn.